Motorcraft Ford California Nationals, crew chief Tim Richards is directing the intense efforts to rebuild Joe Amato's top fuel dragster after that devastating explosion in round number 1. Meantime, on the starting line, Amato's teammate Bruce Larson, winner and there was no smoke off the tires on that burnout. That's a problem for Larson. These huge 17-inch wide slicks are designed to operate at high temperature, and the only way you can get them hot is to burn them. The crewman putting Larson back. He's saying, go on back, further, back into the water, do another burnout. Larson did not get those tires hot. He is racing against Ed McCulloch, the number 2 qualifier at this event, and now that's what you call burning rubber. This is a very important round for Bruce Larson. He has the opportunity to extend his points lead even further, particularly when the number 2 man, Kenny Bernstein, went out with that big upset in round number 1. His competition, though, is Ed McCulloch, one of the toughest drivers and certainly one of the quickest cars, qualified number 2 at this race and beat Tom Hoover in his first round. Bruce Larson coming off a big win at Denver at Vandermeer Speedway when he took home the title of the Mile High Nationals. Larson at the wheel of the Century TAC engages Oldsmobile, having overcome the burnout problem, now staged to race McCulloch. And McCulloch with an advantage at the start. And McCulloch drives away from Bruce Larson. 5.37 seconds his speed, 276 miles an hour, and Larson's points earning day is at an end. The next 2 cars already fired and coming out of the water. Here is the Dodge Daytona, the Hawaiian Punch Special of Roland Leong, driven by Jim White. White enjoying his best day on the track, qualifying with a fine 5.40, has got to run the quickest car at this race, the Pontiac of Don Prudhomme. 5.30 seconds, a new track record, was the time established by Prudhomme in qualifying. Steve?
Well, nobody has to tell Bruce Larson that he had the door open for him here with Kenny Bernstein going out round number 1. But Bruce, how big a factor was the double burnout?
I don't think it was any. There seemed to be too much water on the tires. I'm not really sure. I haven't had time to think about it yet, but I don't think it was a factor at all. But we did really have a tire shake problem at half track, and that was my demise.
The fact that it fell off at 10th has nothing to do with dragging the clutch through that bad burnout.
No, it was tire shake.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
By virtue of his first round win, Larson picked up approximately 200 points on Bernstein in that very tight funny car race. Car owner Roland Leong has given Jim White a mark to aim for. That's exactly the spot that he wanted him to back over, so he knows that he's in the proper track. White qualifying with a 5.40 in the number 5 spot, beat Dale Paldy round number 1, while Don Prudhomme equaled his qualifying time of a 5.30 to put away Scott Coletta in his first round race. White in the far lane, Prudhomme in the near lane under the watchful eye of Chief Starter Buster Couch. They will stage these cars and then await the moment when Buster throws the switch for the green light. Problems for Jim White, and Prudhomme through the quarter mile at 5.38 seconds. His speed, 268 miles an hour. Incredibly consistent is Don Prudhomme. Meantime, back in the top fuel pit area of Joe Amato, the tires are being mounted, indicating they are getting close to the completion of the entire rebuild of the engine and drivetrain in this dragster. It looks like they're going to make the call for round number 2. Motorcraft Ford California National. The work is done on the DRW Special of Joe Amato, and it's head them up and move them out to the staging lane. There is one deviation from the norm, though. They have not fired the engine. They did not have time to find out if the motor will even run. That's an unknown quantity. Let's go down now to Steve with Don Prudhomme.
Well, this is the kind of weekend that Don Prudhomme and crew have been working for all season long. Snake Low qualifier at 5:30, now a 5:38 sends you to the semis.
Yeah, it's so far it's going okay, Steve. You know, we just been struggling a little bit, but it's starting to come around, and we just got to run a little harder now.
You seem to be very conservative as far as not running the car any further than you have to take it.
Yeah, that's right. The car's been tearing the rear-end parts up in it, and we've been having a lot of trouble with that, so we're just trying to cool it till we have to lean on it.
living on the edge, Don Prudhomme. 2 cars remain in round number 2 of racing. It is the Motorcraft Ford Probe of the team of Candies and Hughes out of Houma, Louisiana, driven by Mark Oswald in the far lane against the brand new Thunderbird bodied car. It made its debut just a week ago. This is Art Hendy. This beautifully painted creation from the team of Hendy and Worship is one of those independent racers that has been most successful. He'll need every bit of performance that car has, though, as he is racing against one of the favorites. This is the man that won the title here a year ago, Mark Oswald. He beat Mike Dunn in the first round. Art Hendy, meantime, had a big victory over Richard Hartman to earn the right to race against the defending champ. The staging procedure underway. Both cars now set. And up in smoke goes Oswald, and Hendy loses traction. They both get back on the throttle, and Mark Oswald recovers first to take the win. An unimpressive 6.49 second elapsed time, but the thing that is notable, he had the win light in his lane. That sets up the pairings for the semifinals. Mark Oswald will race against Ed McCulloch, with McCulloch having the choice of lanes. Don Prudhomme against John Force. The Snake gets to choose the lane by virtue of his quicker elapsed time in round number 2. The word goes out to the Top Fuel racers. Gentlemen, start your engines. That phrase has particular significance for Tim Richards and Joe Amato, and the engine comes to life. As we told you, it was an untested piece. That engine had never been started prior to this moment, and now Joe Amato has got to take the car to the starting line to race against Eddie Hill. One question has been answered. Yes, it will run. But the second question is, will it be competitive? Has yet to be answered. As Amato rolls out of the puddle of water that helps those tires break loose, Eddie Hill goes into a strong burnout, and Amato's engine sounds very strong. A tribute to Tim Richards, the crew chief, and all the crew on Amato's car to be able to rebuild after such a disastrous engine explosion and fire that Joe suffered in round 1. This is one of the more complex overhauls that any crew has been confronted with. Not only was the engine totally destroyed, but the clutch had to go. The drivetrain had to be completely replaced, and the electronic wiring harness that controls so much of the fuel delivery and clutch activation system had to be replaced because it was burned off in the ensuing fire after the engine let go. This was not the only scary moment for Amato. Yesterday, in a qualifying run against Dennis Forcell from Minneapolis, Minnesota, it was almost an instant replay of the Gene Snow incident. Watch Forcell's car in the near lane. At about 3/4 track, an intake valve broke. The engine exploded, blowing the left rear tire. Forcell had the driving job of his life to stay away from Joe Amato. After he brought the car to a safe stop, Forcell unbuckled his seat restraints and climbed from the car. Steve Evans was there and had a chance to talk to Dennis.
Well, you can see a tremendous blower explosion, and apparently a piece of that engine or blower punctured that left rear tire, blew it completely off the vehicle. Dennis Forcell is just fine. And Dennis, an incredible job at driving to keep away from Amato. You missed him by inches.
Yeah, well, it was fortunate. We were just able to keep it away from him because it sure wanted to keep going over that way.
It appears that the explosion blew the tire off.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. The blower came over the top of my head, and then it fell alongside, and the tire ran over it.
Tremendous job.
Thank you.
Dennis Forcell was able to rebuild his car, but he lost in a tire smoking effort in round number 1. Eddie Hill has got to think he has the advantage in this second round race against Joe Amato. In his first round victory over Gary Beck, Hill carded a very competitive 5:11 elapsed time. For Amato, he's got the thumbs up to Tim Richards. All the gauges are reading okay. Now he's got to concentrate on getting a good start and just hope that all goes well in the performance department. A good start, and Amato pulls ahead. At the finish line, Joe job. 5.06 seconds. His speed, 282 miles an hour, as Hill fell far behind. A strong burnout by Jim Head. He is racing the current points leader in the Winston Championship chase. This is the Castrol GTX Special of Gary Ormsby. It is hard to describe the amount of effort that was put forth by Joe Amato's crew. That 5:06, the second quickest time of eliminations. Right now, Steve's with Joe Amato. Unbelievable.
That's what you call a team, buddy. We got the best out there.
And you know, you never got excited in there. If you made it, you made it. If you didn't, you did it. You kept smiling. It was calm.
Well, Steve, you know, you have to stay calm, keep everybody else calm. Even though you got butterflies inside, I was nervous, but I have the Tim Richards and all my guys, they're the best.
Be honest with me. How did you feel it'd run? Did you think it'd even start?
Well, I knew it would start, but I didn't know what it would do going down the track because there was so much electronic stuff burned out of this car. All the teams came to help us. I mean, it was a joint effort from a lot of people, and we went out and put the wind light on. That's what it's all about.
If there's such a thing as miracles in drag racing, we just saw one.
Steve, we're also looking at a very happy man. Joe Amato advances to the semifinals. Back at the starting line, Jim Head, having completed his burnout, gets ready to pull forward. And a wave to starter Buster Couch. It was Jim Head that beat Dennis Purcell in that round number 1 race, while his competition, Gary Ormsby, the number 2 qualifier, beat Frank Cook in his first round race. Ormsby in the far lane. Jim Head with that huge wing out in front of those small front tires. That wing helping keep the front end on the ground. A good start. And the wing comes off Ormsby's car. Upside down, Ormsby is sliding along the guardrail. The sparks generated by the roll bar scraping against the asphalt. It comes to a stop right in front of our camera position. Ormsby moving inside the car. The safety safari quickly on the scene. Jerry Grice in talking with Gary Ormsby as they hose down the engine to cut down the danger of fire. As we watch again in replay, all was normal at half track. Then disaster struck. The wing strut collapsed. The wing came off. That unloaded the rear tires. The engine backfired. And then Ormsby had the ride of his life. The car barrel rolled sideways through the lights, backed into the guardrail. Then upside down began its sliding, grinding stop in the shutdown area at Sears Point International Raceway. The good news, Ormsby is uninjured, and Steve Evans is able to talk to him.
Well, with funny cars, we know it's fire. With Top Fuel dragsters, the most frightening thing that can happen just happened to Gary Ormsby. When the wing comes off that car, they unload, you're okay.
Yeah, Steve, I didn't know what had happened. It just took a big turn on me, and I didn't have any idea what happened.
It happened so fast, there's nothing you could do?
No, there was nothing I could do. Next thing I was upside down, and I was just trying to stay in the car, keep my hands inside the car. It wasn't the thing I could do when I got upside down.
Well, we're glad to see you're all right.
Thank you very much.
A final check of Gary Ormsby by emergency medical technician Ronnie Davis. Look at the roll cage. The slide down the asphalt nearly ground through the roll bar on Ormsby's car. Don't go away. There's